Welcome back to the Healthy Skin Show. I'm Takashi, your healthy skin coach, helping you get clear skin and preaching to the world why food is the ultimate medicine. Today, I'm going to explain why you might not want to use sunscreen and why you might want to use an alternative product for sun protection. But first, I'm going to plug my website, thehealthyskincoach.com. If you need help with skin, inflammation, or nutrition, book a free appointment with me. All right. So obviously skin cancer is a big problem and protecting your skin from the sun is important, but is using sunscreen the best solution? I think the emphasis on using sunscreen is a little overemphasized, especially because 90% or more of Americans are deficient or insufficient of vitamin D from the sun. So they're avoiding sun altogether because they think they'll get skin cancer. Well, you're actually not getting enough vitamin D, which is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and vitamin in your body. And it's hard to get that from food. So you have to get it from the sun. And it's super easy. Just 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight can get you the adequate amount of your daily recommended value. For me, I take off my shirt and run around the neighborhood for 15 minutes in the sun, and I'm getting vitamin D, which helps me reduce inflammation in my body and boost my immune system. And I, as a healthy skin coach, don't use sunscreen because of the synthetic ingredients inside. I use an alternative product that protects against UV rays, which I will explain later in the video. For people who are spending hours and hours in the sun, then yes, you can use sunscreen after you get 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight to activate vitamin D in your skin, and then you can layer on sunscreen for protection. Although I will give you an alternative product that might be safer than sunscreen. So this article was published in January of this year, 2020, and it's titled, "Sunscreen Can Be Absorbed in the Bloodstream," a new study says. There's a lot of synthetic ingredients in there. Do you really want those ingredients into your blood? Ask yourself that. These scientists concluded that this finding calls for further industry testing to determine the safety and effect of systemic exposure of sunscreen ingredients, especially with chronic use. So they couldn't determine if the ingredients are unsafe or safe in your bloodstream, but ask yourself, logically, do you want these synthetic ingredients into your bloodstream? For me, I know my answer is no. And I will show you what ingredients are actually inside sunscreen. So typically in sunscreen, there are chemicals like oxybenzone, octinoxate, nanoparticles, and homosalate. And here's an article describing their harmful effects in the body. Oxybenzone is linked to endocrine disruption, organ system toxicity, contact allergies, and photoallergies, meaning exposure to light is required to generate an allergic response. Oxybenzone is also harmful to aquatic life, and in 2018, Hawaii banned it to protect coral reefs. Octinoxate is a commonly used UV filter against UVB rays, but not UVA rays. But it's been linked to endocrine disruption by an abundance of data, as well as to reproductive toxicity. Researchers have detected this chemical in breast milk, urine, and blood. So, if you're using sunscreen a lot, and we found out that it can be absorbed in the skin into your bloodstream, and researchers have found it in the blood, then ask yourself, do you really want to continue using synthetic ingredients? Homosalate is another common ingredient that's been linked to hormone disruption. And here is another graphic of the synthetic ingredients in sunscreen. And look at all these fancy chemicals. Abobenzene, sinoxate, dioxybenzone, ecamsol, homosalate, octocrylene, oxybenzone, phenobenzimidazole. And a lot of these chemicals protect against UVB, but not so much UVA. And then I asked myself, do I want all these fancy ingredients to potentially end up in my bloodstream? And I say no. And here is an alternative product that I use to protect against UV rays. And it's called almond oil. Here's a study from Hamdard University in India titled Effect of Pre-Treatment of Almond Oil on UV-Induced Cutaneous Photoaging in Mice. So the background is UV radiation has been implicated in photoaging in various types of skin cancers. Although the human skin has evolved several defense mechanisms to survive the insults of damage like keratinization and melanin pigmentation, it is still subject to the harmful effects of sunlight. Obviously, if you're spending a lot of time in the sun, then go ahead and use sunscreen. But for me, I only really spend 30 minutes a day in the sun. So that's why I use almond oil as my sun protection and not use synthetic ingredients in sunscreen. This study concluded that topical almond oil is capable of preventing the structural damage caused by UV irradiation, and it was also found useful in decelerating the photoaging process. And here is another article from the University in Belgrade in Serbia titled Potential of Herbs in Skin Protection from Ultraviolet Radiation. And in the introduction, they talk about how UV radiation is strongest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And that UVB is primarily associated with erythema and sunburn, and it can also cause immunosuppression and photocarcinogenesis. So I'm not diminishing the harmful effects of UV rays, but I also want you to realistically understand the benefits of vitamin D and the benefits of using alternatives like almond oil to protect your skin. And the researchers found that plant oils can be used as sunscreens. They found that some plant oils contain natural sunscreens. For example, sesame oil resists 30% of UV rays, whereas coconut, peanut, olive, and cottonseed oils block out about 20%. And I also use coconut oil on my skin because it's great at reducing inflammation in the skin while containing healthy fats to moisturize my skin. And now you know that it can also be used as a natural sunscreen. That's a much healthier, more natural alternative than the synthetic ingredients used in commercial sunscreens. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Visit my website, thehealthyskincoach.com, if you ever need help with nutrition, skin, or inflammation. As always, Taco is out.